aka Real Deal Ray. We sincerely hope that y'all are doing well during this time. Things seem like they're real crazy or whatever. I've said it and I keep saying it again. It's gonna go back to somewhat normal. I don't ever believe that things are gonna be quite normal ever again. But that's really a topic for another video. The title of this video is why you really want a quantum Bruja doll. And you know I got to bring out Mini Go here. It was popping. Yeah, Mini Go had to come through. I've been using them. So you got the sigil, everything. I've been using them a lot lately. And, my lifestyle, I've kind of always been more indoors, especially last 10 years or whatever. I've been kind of like housebound almost, a lot. I'm a homebody to the 10th power. And, I've been taking this advantage really over the last few years, but especially now with really reading a lot. The more I know, the more I don't know, I'll say. And just, really reading on just how similar or kind of where magic and quantum physics meet. And it's really fascinating once you start getting into the quantum world of things, which is kind of basically what this doll, what these types of dolls, poppets, hoodoo dolls, voodoo dolls, really what they're all about. It is also a form of sympathetic magic. There's creating something in a likeness of something else to influence it. There is using a piece of something that was once attached to or used by a target or something that you want to influence. Both of which we like to mix up with our quantum Bruja dolls here. But one thing about the quantum world, everything seen is made of the unseen. That's just a very simple fact of the matter. And basically, micro makes the macro here, okay? In everything that we do, everything that we see. Um, Everything is ruled by the mental realm. So it is important to get those objectives that you want to see and experience in your life into your subconscious mind. Now, the quantum Bruja doll is a fascinating, fun way, as far as I'm concerned. I have fun with it, a fun way to program. I want to, first of all, shout out everyone who's ordered their quantum Bruja doll. Okay, that's Masa, Charity, Marissa, Martha. The list goes on. But what is surprising and kind of eye opening to me, and I'm actually very, very happy to see this, is all these individuals ordered one of themselves because they want to use it continuously to work on themselves and on their situations and stuff like that. They want more influence and more control of themselves and of their personal situations. And I thought that was so dope because I kind of expected people to want to order these to try and manipulate somebody else. And it just goes to show, you know, the wonderful clients and customers that we do have. Not to say if somebody ordered it to manipulate somebody else that that's a bad thing at all. No, I mean, they are here for that as well. But it's just when you have one of these, when you commission us to create one of these for you, to me, that is like a form of higher magic. Because really, in the end, and there's an old adage you may have heard, and it's true, there's no one to control but yourself. A person who has control over themselves, first of all, they don't need to control anybody or anything else, but they end up as a byproduct now, having more control over others and over situations. It's just one of those things. It's not that they're necessarily chasing for that. That's just something that ends up happening. So that comes along with the micro making the macro. You know, The other thing is your subconscious mind is used to objectifying its imagination um, into objects, toys. It's a natural thing. We were all children at one point in time. We all do still have an inner child. That's a fact. So, children are the best magicians ever. I remember as a child being on punishment, and my mother took away, my toys and that of my sisters, and we turned a brush and something else into this whole adventure that lasted like a year, not a year, an hour. We were going somewhere, and we were in the back of the car, in the back seat, and we turned. I mean, the brush was a spaceship. It was just like through the faculty of imagination. So I say that because when you get tools to, alter your subconscious mind, you know, uh, you sometimes may choose a tool that is unfamiliar to your subconscious mind. And just because it's unfamiliar to your subconscious mind, it's going to end up rejecting it. You can stand in front of a mirror and affirm that you are thin, that you are loved, and God damn it, people like you, but that's kind of like the long way to go because for most of us, the subconscious mind at first is going to more than likely reject it. The fact that you feel you even need to do affirmations um, basically hints at the fact that you really don't believe that shit, you know? Now, of course, this can be circumvented through repetition. How much repetition? A whole shitload of repetition. Um, and like I said, that's pretty much kind of the slower way. Usually, when using affirmations, you want to evoke and invoke that sense of what you are affirming to the point where you start getting that feeling, you know? And it's a very long way to get that feeling. So, when you want to use something, and all magic has to do also with implanting or working with, I won't even say implanting, getting the subconscious mind on board. Once your subconscious mind says yes to you, that's when things start popping like popcorn, baby. It's on like Donkey Kong, baby. And one of the reasons why these are so effective and people are finding these so effective now, and yes, we came out with these um, in the midst of when it looked like it was about to be a fucking apocalypse. People think they're gonna fly up to they're waiting to fly up to white Jesus right now. Okay, these are crazy times. Okay, but I have been saying it. A lot of people have been saying it that this is now the time that you should be going within more than ever, more than ever. And if you're going to use a tool to influence, to communicate with, to get your subconscious mind and your unconscious mind on board with your conscious desires, assuming that what you're saying or what you're aware of that you really want is what you actually want, that you're not chasing outdated shit or you're not chasing things that people have made you feel or believe about yourself that you should be chasing. That's another thing, but you know so assuming these are heartfelt, heart-based intentions, why not use a tool, a methodology that your mind, your subconscious mind already knows and is already familiar with? I'm sure if you've done any study of the subconscious mind, you will also know that when you communicate with the subconscious mind, it has been said, and I'm sure if you have done any type of work with your subconscious mind, specifically and consciously to get a result, it is said that the subconscious mind acts like a child and that you have to communicate with the subconscious mind as you would a 5 or 6 year old or a child or a 7 year old. I find that rather interesting because they say that the formative years that are basically your building blocks for your id, for your personality, for who the fuck you think you are and what is possible, is formed between 0 and 7 years old. So I do find that kind of interesting. But if you're going to use a tool, a methodology, why not use one that your subconscious mind is very familiar with? A, um, when you're a child, you're in constant alpha and even somewhat light theta state. So basically, when you're a small child, and all small children are basically in a, I'm trying to think of the words to say this because, well, I'll say it, they're in alpha and a light theta state. So that is basically a prime brainwave frequency of hypnosis. But the truth of the matter is, we all go into hypnosis every day, all throughout the day. Before you eat, as you're eating, you go into a trance a lot. When you're taking a shit, you go into a trance. When you're driving, you go into a trance. When you're getting piped down, or when you're piping down some good pussy, that's a trance. When you're washing dishes, that's a trance. When you're taking a shower, that's another time for trance. You know what I mean? All those activities are not usually activities that you need to consciously micromanage, you know? So your subconscious and unconscious is used to objectifying its imagination through play. It has also been said that when you start to design your universe and your reality, or actually, let me say this even more quantum physically. In quantum physics, there's a lot of different theories that seem to point out that the reality that you want, which may differ just a little bit from the one you're currently in right now as you watch this video, or it may differ, immensely, already exists. I personally have chosen to subscribe to that model or way of explaining. So imagine there's a bunch of different timelines, and here we are traveling down the timelines, right? So it's kind of a matter of just switching to the one that you already want, because everything is everything already. Haven't you ever heard that? That's an old, everything's everything, baby. Like it already exists. So it's not even about creating, because everything that needs to be created is already created. That's kind of basic quantum theory, quantum physics, and based on everything that we have learned through our journeys in the quantum world. So, play, if you can imagine, I'm going to use a Bashar. Bashar is an entity that is channeled by a guy named Daryl Anka, I believe his name is. But he used an old analogy that reality is like clay. And the more stressed out, the more serious, the more bogged down you are, the more your reality seems to harden in place. It seems even more immovable. It seems even more immalleable or unchangeable. It seems more mechanic. This is just what it is. But if the individual can take a playful perspective and attitude in their efforts and just in their whole state of being, first of all, it lightens them up. Haven't you ever heard to be enlightened means to lighten the fuck up? Like, who wants to be around that? Heavy, just stressed out shit. And I've been very stressed out plenty of times in my life. And I don't like myself when I'm stressed out. Like, I don't want to be around myself, So play is the way. Play opens the door. Play allows your reality to be even more shapeable and malleable. Like I said, just like clay, So you want to choose something that also speaks to that inner child in you, I would think too. If you really want the most effective, and if you want it, the results even faster, then it's my opinion that you'd want to take an approach similar to that, like I'm telling you, with these type of attributes. Having a playful, you know, let's see what happens, like not taking it too seriously. Like, yes, you're serious about what you desire, you are absolutely clear on that intention, but you're not stressing out, you're not desperate, you don't feel like it needs to happen in a certain way, or that you don't need to experience it unfolding in a certain way. So when you're playing, you're just in your flow state. Kids are always in their flow state. So using a methodology which also embraces the same, your, I don't know, we got cut off right here, but your inner child is also a source of immense power. So if you get one of these and also start to do shadow work, and you want to incorporate your quantum Bruja doll of yourself while doing shadow work. A lot of times, shadow work does also include um, healing your inner child. You know what I'm saying? Um, I knew a guy who always flipped the hell out, even over the littlest shit, especially within the confines of a relationship. But what turned out to be is he was actually regressed in hypnosis, and for some reason, a memory of his parents arguing and shit, you know, and his father yelling and stuff like that. And somehow, some way, he came to this idea that in order to get what he wants, he has to have a fit, because his parents would always fight. So a lot of times, the only way to get their attention would be to have a fit. Well, when he was a child, that served him, okay? But now being a functioning adult and in a trying to have a functioning healthy relationship, that shit just did not cut it. It was very problematic. And he could not understand why it was happening. Like I said, until he regressed himself through hypnosis, and then he was able, for some reason, the subconscious mind offered up that memory. Yo, check this out, you know, and he was able to put the pieces together and he figured it out. That's why. So one of the first things he did was made peace with that inner child version of himself, told him, hey, you don't need to do that. We can find alternative ways, other ways to get what we want. It's okay, blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, he had to create other systems, at first to catch himself, because, sometimes the symptoms, which would be in his case, like the having a fit, that's like the symptom, or that's the effect. But the cause was something from like when he was 4 years old, and he did not know. So he lived almost more than half his life going through different situations like that, getting in fights, blowing up at work, losing jobs, losing opportunities, losing friends, losing relationships, um, and all from that inner little bastard of his that was just trying to make sure that they got what they needed. That was the intention. It wasn't to hurt himself, obviously, but what a child would do and what an adult would do are often two different things. Most of us are just big children in adult bodies to some degree. Okay. So, uh, yeah, once again, so using this as a tool, or even something like this, but using this as a tool for shadow work is also something that is very powerful, especially relating to things like that. I'll use even a personal one from myself. About 15 years ago, I was having a very, very tough time just in my life, period. Everything was going wrong. It could go wrong, uh, as often does when you're having a tough time. And for some reason, I started doing a regression with myself. And a memory of when I was a child was offered up to me. And this was something that I just did not think of at all for years. When I was about 4 years old, 5 years old, aunt, my aunt was always kind of into hippie shit a little bit, what would be called kind of hippie shit, spiritual shit or whatever. She gave me a gold pyramid, and it was a gold three-dimensional pyramid that would be on your chain. And it had a little keyhole on the bottom. And she said, as long as you don't ever open this up, you will always have superpowers. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like the gist of it. So I totally knew that I had fucking superpowers. Okay. Now, one day I am outside playing by myself, and I had the necklace on, and I was imagining that in order to destroy the villain, I needed to take my pyramid off and like kind of toss it over there, and it would somehow destroy him, right? Don't ask me why in the fuck I thought this was a great idea, right? But I did that, and I threw it, and it ended up hitting concrete, and the bottom of the pyramid ended up cracking open. And the memory that was served up to me also was I remember crying like a motherfucker because my powers were gone. Because my auntie said that as long as I don't open this, I will have powers. I will experience myself having powers. But if I open it, that's it. It's a wrap. And I didn't mean for it to crack open, but that was a very little traumatic time for young Shangito, And I totally forgot about that situation. Come to find out, years and years and years later, that as actually what had happened was it actually morphed into a belief about myself, about what I was capable of and what I wasn't capable of. And it really deeply influenced me on a very, very deep, maybe even cellular level, most likely a cellular level. But it's something that I totally forgot. My conscious mind totally forgot about that shit. And had I not gone into hypnosis and asked my subconscious mind, yo, what are these root causes here? And that's what was offered to me. But that's just an example of different ways that you can use these. There's lots of different rituals. I'm actually thinking I'm like this close to either creating a small little video course, a one video, but it just goes to show all the different just ideas, creative ideas that you can use when you get your Quantum Bruja doll. I'm either considering that or maybe a book. I'm not quite sure, but if people ask me, then I will make a compendium to go along with this so that those who order it or something, they may have a chance, if they want more ideas, because it does have instructions and it does have 3 basic ritual formats. You are encouraged with this doll, number one, to come up with your own rituals. You can't do this wrong, okay? That's the beautiful thing. This is also a form of chaos magic. So if it works for you, if you're intuitively led to do something or certain working, then I would say listen to your intuition. You got to start trusting yourself, people. All right? You can't keep every time you do something asking me or somebody else, is this right? What do you think about this? For one, it don't matter what the fuck I think. It's not my vision. It's not my this. It's not my that. It's yours. Honor yourself because you're worthy. Another reason I like these is because a lot of us have statues and things of different deities and, different pantheons and energies that we may work with, gods or goddesses, and that's great. That's awesome. But your divinity birthed all these gods and goddesses. So when are you going to venerate yourself? This is a perfect way to do just such a thing. To worship something is to deem it worthy. That's the basic definition of it. To be deemed worthy of, and of course, when you look in the dictionary or whatever, it always talks about God, like something about a God or whatever. But the bottom basic line though is to be deemed worthy. And I would say 99% of you, and I'll say us as a human condition, have been conditioned to believe that we are not worthy. If you grew up in any kind of fucking religion, religion has this thing called original sin. So basically, you're guilty for some shit you didn't even do. How's that? On top of what you're going to learn from your parents, um, unless they are absolutely spot on perfect and not deficient or dysfunctional in any form or fashion, meaning they had no trauma from their own prospective parents as well. Good luck in finding that. I'm sure most of you have great parents, but all parents have gone through their share of traumas, have been had, bullshit passed down to them, and they passed it on down to you because they thought they were doing you a favor. They thought they were protecting you. They thought this kid needs to know about this type of thing. They're going to grow up in this society and stuff like that. So, it's the right thing to do. And how many times you heard parents say, "Hey, that's how I was raised," you know? And through my own work, I've had to stop and, I mean, that's part of the game though, stopping and question, like, okay, because I've heard that a lot, especially a lot of my friends, my homeboys and shit. When they have kids, they're dealing with a situation with a child. Well, I was raised like this. Okay, but does that necessarily empirically mean that that's the right thing to do? So questioning your beliefs and stuff like that, you'll be surprised what may come up when you start working with your own mini you. You know what I'm saying? So to make this an even better thing, because right now, the whole world is in a state of panic. The whole world is in a state of fear. Fear is just an emotion, okay? I did a Rona ritual, basically, and that's still available as well on its own. It's a sigil talisman as well. It comes with video instructions on how to utilize it for your own personal magical works. Whatever works you're doing, you can juice them up like PEDs, like steroids, okay, with this energy, because there is an abundance of it right now. So now be the time to utilize it. There are some things you would want to do before you just go pulling in this energy though, because there's a lot of, like I said, fear thought forms running rampant right now. And these fear thought forms are themselves like a bad cold. You can catch them if you're not aware and if you're not careful. So you need to cleanse this energy. You need to have a system, a formula to refine this energy. So that way you're working with purified, refined energy for your grounding, your peace, your power, your intentions, your agenda. Okay? That's what I say. So when you choose to order your Quantum Bruja doll now, we're going to give you the Rona ritual as well. So you can also use that sigil talisman along with whatever workings you choose to do, whether you want to bring something to you, whether you want to get rid of something, whether you want to build certain habits. Now, of course, there are things you do just in the natural world to help facilitate habits. I've also been reading a book called Atomic Habits, which is fucking awesome. I suggest each and every one of you get that book as well. I might even put the link in my description so you can get it off of Amazon through my link, okay? But yeah, you can also use your Quantum Bruja doll though to assist you on that, because magic works when you work it, okay? So having said all that, you're probably wondering how you can get one of these of your own. Well, just goes to show you that we do have the answer for that. There are the links right here in the bottom description right there. There should be a little arrow, and you click that arrow and all roads will lead to Rayland, okay? To Ray Industries, okay? And we are here hard at work. Like I said, these are not easy to make. One of the ingredients, because we custom make them for each and every one of you. Borda makes them, and I consecrate them and do my thing with them to get them ready for you, and then we're going to send it out to you. They are made with Spanish moss, kind of a touch back to the old traditional like hoodoo dolls and stuff like that, but and poppets, but made with Spanish moss, but different maybe crystals, different herbs, whatever it is that you personally, want your particular quantum bruja doll for. Oh, and let's not forget, it also comes with candle. Give me that whole box, would you? Right on. Pick a candle depending on what you're doing, okay? Because we got it all, okay? We got it all. So you get a candle. This, baby, can you show me that wonderful bag? Just give me one of those. Yeah. Give me Maz. I'm not going to show you her face. But, you know, so they come with their own bag. They got the candle involved. And there's also, depending on your purposes and stuff. But now, since people are not ordering these to like influence him or bring this nigga over here and do all that. Yes, you can do all that. But like I said, why not get one of yourself and then attract all kinds of ideal lovers, whatever kinds of type you like. So that way you're coming from a place of abundance, a place of choice. But we also include some oil that you can use too. I'm probably going to include for the next couple orders here. I made some Rona ritual, some COVID-19 power oil. Okay, I'm walking my talk. Okay, and I'm talking my walk. Okay, so I've been hard at work using this shit as well, and I'm going to send some of you guys some Rona ritual power oil. Okay, because you can use this Rona ritual power oil to juice up all your works. So no matter what you're doing, you feel like you want to protect yourself and your family, you can use your like I said, they come in a discreet bag. So if you're going somewhere, you need to take yourself with yourself. Nobody knows what the hell's in the bag, okay? They're not gonna ask you why you got a doll of yourself, okay? Now I would suggest, of course, that because I love myself, okay? I just want to sleep with myself. That's why I want a doll, okay? Mind your fucking business, all right? So, yeah, anyways, let's not get off topic here. But yeah, this is what you get. So you get the bag, you get her. I can't show you. This is an actual client's going out tomorrow, but she's going to give you the eye. Hey. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you get these, and of course your instructions. And the instructions has 3 different rituals, one for abundance, one for love and lust, and one for protection. Now, the basis though also is, of course, that these are just ideas. I would like to inspire you to create your own. As I said before, those are the most powerful you can do, and your subconscious mind is going to let you know, hey, why don't you do this? Hey, let's play like this. When you start playing with your subconscious mind gonna wake up and be like, oh, okay, cool. We can get some money. Why don't we play and pretend this? Hey, pretend that. Pretend. Remember when you were playing as a kid and it's like, hey, yo, pretend it like my guy went, I'm not saying do all that, but you get it. Your subconscious mind instantly recognizes that shit, and that's one of the most powerful things you could do with your subconscious mind is play. An air of playfulness, man, playfulness. The fuck you so serious for, okay? So, like I said, everything is in the description. I unyapped a lot today, but I said some good shit. And it's my intention that you take some concepts, some precepts, some ideas, and most of all, take action in understanding yourself, getting clarity of what you really, really want, which is one of the most importante things. That would be your why. The why wills the how, okay? You get a good enough a why that really means something to you. Why am I doing this? Why do I want this? Watch what happens. This matrix is going to start to conform, and things are going to start happening. And a lot of times it's going to be in a way that you could not possibly foresee. I did not see that coming, but you know what? I'm sure glad it did. So, what the fuck you waiting for? Get yourself your quantum bruja doll, and if you act now, we're going to throw in the Rona ritual as well, so you can use that. And you can use that, of course, with your quantum bruja doll, but besides your quantum bruja doll, you can use that for anything you're doing. Anything. It's like power pellets. It just makes your fucking your Pac-Man get huge. You know what I'm saying? Your Pac-Man get huge. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. So peace and blessings. We'll see you on the other side. We can't wait to get you your quantum bruja doll. Peace and blessings.